So, greetings from Redwood City, where the air today is about as clear as it ever gets, clean as it ever gets, with very light fog rain that's helping refresh everything. And may the gentle fog rain of the Dharma nourish and feed all of us. So, the Buddha had a radical idea for his times. And the radical idea is that it's okay to be happy. And the happiness that he advocated, a happiness which he said people should not fear, but rather practice regularly and experience regularly, it's a radical kind of happiness for our modern world. The radical idea for our modern world, in that it is a happiness which doesn't harm anyone. It's a happiness which doesn't depend on or require anything of other people, and doesn't harm our environment and using natural resources. And it's amazing to have such a clean, harmless form of happiness available to us. However, it's a happiness that is pretty radical, revolutionary for individuals, in that it requires a radical reorientation, a revolution in the mind about where we're oriented. At least for the period of time of meditation, where we center ourselves, what our central values, purpose, orientation is about where to base our life, where to center ourselves. And it's a revolution in the mind which is not necessarily easy to do, but it's a revolution in the mind that, for the time of the meditation at least, turns the attention around, away from the concerns of the world, away from the concerns of the self, away from the past, the future, the stories of our lives. And that turning away maybe is a shedding temporarily, a deep letting go of many of the ways in which we usually think about ourselves, and even the emotions and feelings that we are really focused on, to turn the attention to become receptive to the depths of our being, to be receptive to the upwelling, to allow the possibility for an upwelling of this happiness the Buddha talked about. It's the happiness that comes from being settled, from having some degree of tranquility and peacefulness about just being here. It's happiness that comes from being content for a few moments, for a few minutes, just to be here, in this body, in this time, in this experience here. And not looking forward and outside and concerned with other things and other places, other times. And here is where we can find a happiness that does not cause harm. Here we find a happiness, the Buddha said, is not to be feared. And here we find a happiness that supports the deep insight leading to liberation, leading to the arising of a deep care and compassion for the world. So to take a meditation posture, and for this meditation, perhaps a posture that certainly helps you to be mindful and alert, to really be here, but a posture where you feel comfortable. So if you have some obvious places of discomfort when you meditate, maybe you can somehow adjust your posture so that discomfort is not here. And the idea of closing our eyes in meditation it's a little bit symbolic of letting go for a few minutes the concerns with the outer world, other people, and to allow the attention to become interested in our direct, embodied experience. What experience does your body have of itself? If we really tune in, listen to our body as if you've never listened to it before, to experience the body from the inside out, with a little heightened sensitivity to embodied experience. And turning the attention to the breathing is also symbolic of turning our attention to a way that our body is caring for ourselves, nourishing us, supporting us in being alive and keeping enough oxygen flowing, carbon dioxide leaving, to make this whole system of ours work. And so symbolically we're turning towards a way in which the body is caring for us, supporting us. And then as we exhale, to begin the process of relaxing some of the extra tension in the body. And this is also symbolic of the value of coming home to oneself, to be centered and settled, really here in your experience. Most tension represents concerns and worries, and they're usually not about being here now. As you exhale, maybe relaxing the muscles of your face. Softening and maybe cooling the eyes. If the teeth are touching, it might be nice to let the teeth just fall away from each other slightly, so the jaws can relax a bit. As you exhale, to soften the shoulders, maybe feeling the weight of the shoulders and releasing them to the pull of gravity. And each time you relax, it's also a relaxing into being more deeply in your body. As you exhale, softening the chest and the rib cage. And as you exhale, to soften the belly. If the belly hangs forward and down and the weight of the belly settles more deeply, it's symbolic of becoming rooted, stable, at this time, at this place here. This is the place for mindfulness. And there might be a global way of first feeling your whole body, maybe together with the global movements of breathing in your body, expansion and contraction. And is there any overall way in which you're holding the body tense, resisting something? Perhaps as you exhale, to relax, let go. And as you relax your body, see if you can, as you exhale, the end of the exhale, let yourself be receptive to the beginning of the inhale. So the inhale, you feel how it just begins by itself. If it's easy enough to soften your breathing, you can. If it's easy enough to let there be a ever so slight pause, a rest at the end of the exhale, then it might be easier to be receptive to the beginning of the inhale. And being receptive to the inhale is symbolic of an overall orientation to be receptive to the experiences of the body. Whatever way the body is feeling and experiencing, to let there be an openness, receptivity. And every time you exhale, see if you can relax more. Maybe different exhales, different places of your body can release and relax. And then as you sit here relaxing and opening and receiving, is there anything that's pleasant about that? Any feelings of pleasantness or pleasure that's in your body, in your experience? Could be very embodied pleasure, the pleasantness of some part of the breathing cycle. The pleasantness of some aspect of relaxing. The pleasantness of that comes with a kind of receptivity to experience, a contentment to be rooted, centered here. And then as you breathe, perhaps you can also breathe through that pleasure. Maybe it's a subtle feeling of lightness and well-being, even contentment, joy, however small it might be. Let that also be something as you exhale, you let go into. And as you inhale, that you are receptive to. Almost as if the inhale expands the pleasure, radiates it further through the body. Breathing with pleasure, with the pleasantness that's here. And the pleasantness maybe helps you to be more focused on cruising along on your breathing. Just quietly quieting, riding on the in-breaths and out-breaths. Feeling the pleasantness that might be part of your embodied experience. And if it's easy enough, you can make a little half smile, lifting up the corners of your lips a teeny bit, especially if doing so brings you a little bit of joy or delight. And if it does, then let that joy or delight be integrated with your breathing. Support your breathing. And let whatever joy there is, let it grow in the receptivity of embodied awareness. With each inhale and exhale, like a gentle bellows, wind that's blowing. And some of the meditative sense of well-being can be feelings of lightness, and even like feelings of a wind that lightly lifting up a leaf into the air. Or a gentle fountain of water that's maybe moving up in underneath an underwater lake, underwater fountain, spreading its water through the lake. Just here, letting go of thoughts and concerns, letting go into the body experiencing itself. The body experiencing breathing. The body experiencing whatever is pleasant, enjoyable, here and now. And as we come to the end of this sitting, with whatever degree of settledness you have or well-being that you feel, or whatever memory you have of some qualitatively nice sense of well-being that you've experienced in your life, a well-being and joy that was harmless, didn't require something from the world so much as it was a deep sense of contentment and well-being just to be alive. And to appreciate that this is a human capacity, that all human beings have the capacity to have a deep sense of ease and peace and well-being, deep sense of contentment, joy. And how wonderful it would be that that potential that exists could be the experience of all beings, all people. May it be that a human potential for happiness and well-being can be actualized for all people. May it be a wellspring of inspiration to work for the welfare and happiness of all people. May it be that this meditation practice that we have done today, may it inspire us to live without causing harm to the world, and to wish that all beings be free from harm, free from distress, free from fear. May all beings be happy. May all beings be filled with joy. May all beings be at peace. May all beings be free.